unknown and mysterious creatures. Welcome to another edition of Unknown and Mysterious Creatures. I'm your host, J.V. Torres. In today's episode, we'll examine the frightful messenger of death, the Banshee. In Irish mythology, a mysterious omen of death in the form of a screaming supernatural woman is known as the Banshee. The legend entails that right before someone's death, this enigmatic woman is heard wailing in the distance, causing blood-curdling fear to those unfortunate enough to be in its proximity. But what exactly is a Banshee? The term literally means woman of the fairy mounds. The Banshee is believed to be a feminine spirit whose appearance, witnesses claim, has ranged from a hideous old hag to a beautiful maiden. It is important to note, most stories largely only detail hearing her screams, as she is rarely seen. However, by all accounts, her shrieks evoke a feeling of great dread, as it precedes someone's death. As told in the memoirs of Lady Fanshawe, in 1642, Sir Richard and his wife, Lady Fanshawe, visited a friend at a castle. At night, Fanshawe was awakened by a deathly shriek. Hovering by the window, she saw a woman's face and part of her figure in the moonlight. The apparition remained there for what seemed like an eternity, but with two ghastly screeches, the Banshee vanished into the darkness of night. In another encounter in New Ross, Ireland, a Miss Dunphy, N.T., was also awakened in the middle of the night by what she believed to be a howling of dogs that sounded like, as she put it, filled the whole vault of the heavens. Dunphy ran into the maid's room, and the maid told her what she heard was a banshee. The maid went to the window, but Miss Dunphy was too afraid. The maid described what she saw as a huge tangled ball of wool, but as the tangled ball stepped closer to the window, its form became recognizable. She watched as the bizarre woman began combing her hair. After some time, the woman disappeared. That same night, a banshee was heard in nearby Ryleen and in the Bodlands, where a man named McCarthy had just died. Around 1776, the sister of a Roman Catholic bishop in Ireland wrote of a time when she was a little girl and coming in contact with the old woman. The girl was with a group of friends walking one evening when she came upon a figure standing near the gate of a manor. As the children moved closer, they could see it was a dark old woman who cried and began to clap eerily. One of the children attempted to speak to the woman, but became frightened, and in a panic, all of the children ran back as quickly as they could. The very next day, it was reported the owner of that manor had died. And evidently, at the exact moment the children came in contact with the old woman. But these apparitions are not exclusive in Irish and Scottish lore. Apparently, banshees have been reported in the United States as well. From Michigan to the Ozarks, strange screams have been heard which have been attributed to the legendary Banshee. But the Banshee is not the only crying woman apparition that precedes misfortune. In Mexico and Latin America, there is the legend of La Llorona, or the crying woman. Their backstories are distinct, for sure, but their effect on people who say they hear their wails in the night are just as terrifying and equally ominous. La Llorona is often romanticized in some aspect, in songs and stories, whereas the Banshee is portrayed in a much more ghoulish light. If you think we should devote an episode to La Llorona in a future episode, leave it in the comments. And please consider becoming a patron of the show at patreon.com/King of Silas, where you can have a more direct line of communication with us here at the New Kingdom Radio Theater. The Banshee may be a ghastly part of Irish mythology, but there are those that believe it is not something that should be left to fairy stories to frighten kids. Fairies are serious business, and those that venture into the practice of magic and the supernatural will tell you it is never a good idea to mock or tempt the powers that lurk in the dark. It is widely believed the appearance of the Banshee meant someone close was about to suffer a violent and painful death. Her abilities to shift from a lovely lady to a hideous old hag demonstrates her power. Her cries and screeches evoke a deathly fear that continue to petrify people to this very day. What do you think? Do you think the Banshee is real? And if you have a story to share about an encounter, whether yours or a third-hand story, we'd like you to share it in the comments below. Thank you for listening. Until next time, be on the lookout for more unknown and mysterious creatures.